Hey guys, welcome back. If you're here, you probably don't understand synthetic division. And honestly, I understand that. It's kind of difficult, but at the same time, if you're taught correctly, you'll understand it more. So, fret not, I am here to help you today. So we're going to go through about 3 problems today. If you'd like, you can follow along with a piece of paper on your own. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So here's our equation that we have. We have negative 2x to the third plus 15x squared minus 22x minus 15 divided by x minus 3. First things first, we're going to want to find our x. How do we find x? Well, we're going to make our divisor equal to 0. So we're going to do x minus 3 equals 0. We're going to do the opposite here. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. These cancel out. So x is equal to positive 3. Now normally our division sign looks something like this, but for synthetic division, we're going to go ahead and flip it upside down. Now we're going to put our x, or our divisor, on the outside like you would normally for division. And here's where it's different than normal long division. Rather than putting our x values with the exponents in, we're actually just going to put our constants, including the integer sign. So if this is a negative 2, we're going to put that in. You want to make sure to leave some space below because you're going to be writing stuff. We're going to put in positive 15, negative 22, and negative 15. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to bring down our first value, negative 2, and this is where it's similar to long division. We're going to go ahead and multiply by our divisor. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add. Now because this is a negative, we're actually just going to subtract here, but normally if it was a positive number, we would add. 15 minus 6 is equal to 9. We're going to do the same thing, multiply the number by the divisor. 9 times 3 is 27. Positive 27, and we're going to add it to negative 22. Negative 22 plus 27 is equal to 5. 5 times 3 is positive 15. These two cancel out, you get 0. This final number is usually your remainder, but because it's 0, you have no remainder. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. This is where we figure out our quotient. What is our quotient? Well, we're going to plug our x and our exponents back in. So we're actually not going to include the first number. So it's actually going to be negative 2x squared plus 9x plus 5. And that is our quotient. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. We have x to the third minus 8x squared plus 17x minus 10 divided by x minus 5. Now again, we need to find what x equals to. Now we know all we have to do is do the opposite of what this number is. So x is equal to positive 5. We're going to do the same thing where we turned our division symbol upside down. We put our divisor on the outside. And the same thing as before, we're going to go ahead and put our constants in. If there's no number in front of this, we always know that it's equal to 1. So our first constant is 1. Our second constant is negative 8. Our third is positive 17. And our last one is negative 10. As you know, we put our first constant down, multiply it by the divisor, we get 5. Add 5 to negative 8, we get negative 3. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Subtract 15 from 17, we get 2. 5 times 2 is positive 10. These cancel out, you get 0. There's no remainder. We're going to do the same thing as we did before and plug these back in. Remember, we don't use the first one. So our first one is x to the second. We have minus 3x plus 2. And that is your quotient. If you're unsure if this is correct, you can go ahead and do long division if that's easier. Personally, for me, I find long division easier. Don't know why, but it just is. So we're going to move on to our third and final question. Alright, let's get to our final question. Our last one is x to the third minus 729 over x minus 9. So here, have you noticed that we don't have the remaining degrees? When you're doing synthetic division, and even long division, you have to have all degrees. So if we have x to the third, we have our third degree, but what about the second degree? We're actually just going to make that 0. So it's going to be plus 0 x to the second degree. After that, we're going to have 0 x, and those are our 3 degrees that we're going to use when we do synthetic or long division. So next things next, we have to find what x is equal to. X is equal to positive 9 because the opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. We're going to do the same thing as before. We have our upside down division symbol. We put our divisor on the outside. We're going to put our constants in. This is just equal to 1. We have 0, 0, negative 729. So we have 1, 0, 0, negative 729. Let's do 9 times 1. Well, actually, we have to bring this down. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 plus 0 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 plus 0 is 81. 9 times 81, if you need a calculator, go ahead and grab it. I don't. This is 729. Add that together, these cancel out, you get 0. No remainder. So we're going to do the same thing as we've done before, and we're going to go ahead and plug these back in. Remember, you don't use the first one. We have x to the second plus 9x plus 81, and that is our quotient. Again, if you're unsure, you can go ahead and do this the long division way, and actually just for why not, I'm going to actually do it in long division. We have x minus 9, x to the third plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 729. We're going to do x squared. X squared times x minus 9 is x to the third minus x, or negative 9x squared. You do the opposite, so this now becomes negative and this becomes a positive. These cancel out. You have 9x squared. You bring down the 0. You have plus 0x. You do plus 9x. 9x times x is 9x squared. 9x times negative 9 is negative 81x. You do the opposite. These two cancel out. 81x is left over. You bring down the final number, 81x minus 729. We do plus 81. 81 times x is 81x. 81 times negative 9 is negative 729. You do the opposite signs. These cancel out, you get 0, and this is the same quotient. So that's how I know I am correct. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching.